Welcome back to what Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a GW Tiger, the Geschosswagen Tiger. It's the Tier 9 German SPG. This one is located on the north spawn of Cliff, and it's under the command of Talon 1958. Now I can tell from the gun, he's actually got the big one. That's the top gun. 21 centimeters of power. Yep, there you go, 21. And he's got 1100 alpha with a penetration rate of 53mm of armor and a burst radius of 12 meters. Now, it's got a rather long reload, 33 seconds or 32.99, which is near enough. And it's kind of slow, but it's actually based on the hull of the Tiger 2, not the Tiger 1. And you can see it's moving it into an unusual position, a bit further up from the usual spot, and there's a good reason for doing that. You're less likely to be spotted by the enemy if you're up here. Very difficult to counter battery somebody where they are sitting if they're sitting in a spot where Arty don't normally go. Rounds out in the AMX 50-100. Lands alongside him for 481 hit points, which is a good shot. Now, you might wonder why they didn't actually produce an Arty to go with the Tiger 1 hull. Well, really because they were quite happy with the Arty they actually had at the time, and they didn't think of actually using any of the Panzerkampfwagen Mark 6 or 6 for any Arty. They did think about using the Panther, but again, they didn't actually get around to producing it because all of the hulls were used for tanks. And it was the same with the Tiger 1. They didn't want to use the hull for anything other than tanks. When it came to the Tiger 2 though, they were considering building it, but in fact actually they had got to the stage of actually building a prototype, so it was it was definitely being considered, but by then the end of the war had come and it was more than likely that they were going to not be able to produce them in time. Okay, he's almost loaded. He's got an LT-432 up on the heights, stuck there around the corner, and he takes a direct hit for 492 right on the side of the vehicle. You can see the yellow mark where the shell landed, and the LT-432 was killed by the Wizzy 132 just a few seconds later while he was stunned, so Talon's picked up a load of stun assist. Next target, Cranbon. Well, he would be if he hadn't disappeared. That's the unfortunate thing. For an Arty player, the biggest problem is spotting your opponents because you are relying on other people to do the spotting for you. Either that or you have to be very, very good at guessing where the enemy is. And that shell landed in front of the Cranbon for 230. Now, the reason I say you have to be very good at guessing, well, it's not really guessing, it's actually from experience. You've played so many Arty battles, you know where the enemy tanks tend to go. And if those enemy players play according to the meta, that is, if they go to the same routes, the same spots every time, then it makes it very easy to put a round in blind and get hits on the target. But that 430U is seen, he's rocking backwards and forwards, which makes it easy to target him. And that was a near miss for 113. Well, he's got a red line there. Something's in the way, and I think it might be the hill or the towers on top of the hill. He's going for the 430U again. Changed his mind, going back to the Cranbon. Now, I may have mentioned it to you a while back, but when you select a target, try to select a target which you know you can either maximize your hit points off, or that you can take a gun out of the game, because the more guns you take out the game, the easier it is for your tank crews. Because a tank is still as deadly as if it's got full hit points as if it's got one. It's still capable of doing a huge amount of damage to you, regardless of how many hit points it's got. So taking a gun out of the game can be really beneficial to your teammates. He's going to go for the Super Conk, who's facing off and stopping our guys from moving any further forward. And that was a direct hit on top of him, 524. Now, somebody actually left a comment the other day. Actually, they said, "Do you actually do videos and give tips on how to play or where to go and where to situate yourself on the map?" Well, something we might actually do is consider a series of videos where various people will actually go onto the maps and show the various positions they like to shoot from. So we will consider doing that. We are going to get round to doing those training videos eventually for Arty, and so we all, every battle we do, we give tips on. Oh, that was rather unfortunate for our Centurion one. Just got taken out by a tank destroyer, and there's, oh, it's not a tank destroyer. It's a Batchat 25T AP, which is a medium, a tier 9 French medium. Talon's marked the spot where he thinks he is, hiding just over there. Is he going to put the round in? He's waiting for a spot. There's a liver in sight, actually. He's fired a round in blind. And now he's facing off against a Conqueror who's very low on hit points. Unfortunately, you can see 2 dead tanks in front of him. That was one of the IS-7 was one of the ones that was alive short while before. The Conqueror is a splash kill. The T-95 is not. So if he puts the shell in there, he'll probably get the Superconch, but he'll just splash the T-95. Yep, he got the kill. So he's taken the gun out of the game. T-95 still in there, and probably using all that wreckage for cover. There he is. Yep. And he has lost some hit points. Let's see if we can make him lose some more. It looks like he just got hit by our GW Tiger P as well, because he was stunned. We've only got 2 RT on our team, so for him to be stunned, it must have been the other one. Okay, rounds out, lands behind him. It overshot him and just landed behind him. Okay, over here we've got the Canonian Jagdpanzer 105. The new version. Of course, it's sporting the red colours made by Sir Rusty. Or is it Jazz who made it? Well, it died, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, actually, because that's he is the enemy. And that Batchat's come down from the heights, now decided to get close. And, of course, now he's facing off against an Udes, who hopefully will get the kill any second. Yes, he did. Now, for a brief moment, 212A was spotted in the enemy cap by our Canonian Jagdpanzer. We're going back to that T-95, the Doom Turtle. He's on the move. Rounds out. It hits a wreck, unfortunately, but it makes a nice clang. The Scorpions decided to go cliff diving. He didn't suffer any hit point loss when he did that as well. So he must be a very good driver. He was probably trying to drive forward as he was falling backwards, and that helped protect him. But there's only 4 enemies left now. 2 tank destroyers and 2 Artys. And there's one of the Artys, the 212, finally came to life. The Scorpion is probably just around that corner. And there's the other Arty, the M40, M43. It was in an unusual spot, but we have used that position before. Direct hit wipes him out. So that's the 2nd kill for Talon. The Scorpion's a 1-shot. And he's almost managed to flip himself on his side. Do you see that? He almost went over. That would have been a funny end to the game, but there's still another tank destroyer out there. Well, our Carnarvon's gone down behind the Scorpion. He doesn't appear to be aware of that. And that means the last enemy alive is a Death Star, the FV215B183. And we don't know where he is. In fact, he's never been seen during the entire battle. It is conceivable that he went into the bushes somewhere and just hid. But it's also conceivable that he went up onto the hill and fell over the side and is now perched on a ledge somewhere, unable to get anywhere. So it might be advisable for the team to start capping, just in case he actually is on a ledge. Oh, he's been spotted. There he is. So he was a very crafty player, because he was actually hiding there for the entire battle, but now he has been seen and he was just killed by the Canoni Jagdpanzer. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats and see how he fared. Well, Talon got a second class tanker in the GW Tiger. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 13. He also got a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else in his team, despite the fact that he actually killed 2 of the enemy tanks. And his win rate from the game was 4,850, which is more than he got the last battle we saw him in. He didn't get the highest amount of damage in the game. That actually, funnily enough, went to the Death Star. Even though he wasn't seen for the entire battle, he was pumping rounds in and actually getting nasty hits on the enemy. So he picked up the high caliber for 4,663 hit points. So he was probably the person who actually killed our IS-7. I can just check that actually. Gunslinger was the name of the killer. Yes, it was him actually. That was the guy who got our IS-7. So, the highest damage went to him. Second highest damage went to Jaegeru with 3,900. And the third highest damage went to Talon with his Confederate and 3,818. The Udes came just behind with the Spartan and 3,679. When it came to kills, it was the Udes who did the best with 4 kills. The Carnarvon got 3 and so did the Death Star. Talon only managed to get 2, but 2 put him still joint third on the table. And when it came to base XP, he was second. The top spot went to the Udes 1516 with 945. Talon got 904. And then we got the GW Tiger P with 866. He fired 13 rounds, got 5 direct hits, 1 penetration, 11 splash. Damage of 3,818 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 80 of the enemy, killed 2, and did 754 hit points of stun assist off 10 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 48,702 credits, got 70,000 for completing the mission events, total 118,702 credits, and after ammunition resupply took away 85,742 credits. He received 1 bomb for getting the Confederate, and 1,356 XP times 2 for the first victory, 2,712 experience points altogether. And he said he loves this spot on Cliffswood. Actually, it's a very good spot, because if you think about it, it's very difficult for the enemy to work out where you are if you're actually quite a considerable distance away from the normal firing position. And I suppose it is a kind of hint that we really ought to do a little short video showing all the firing positions that we think are pretty usable, and so that other people can actually see what's available to them and what sort of fields of fire and how they work. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.